Daquan. Yeah.
Daquan made is that I think you're absolutely right. We need to look at the police force. 1,800 individuals, or roughly 1,800 individuals that are on the police force. They need to go through some type of mental competency training to make sure that they are vetted before they hit the streets and are placed with a life-threatening weapon in their holster and have the authority to detain individuals. They need to have competency training so that they can treat people as human beings and not as an object. So I believe you're absolutely correct. We need to look at diversifying the police department so that it looks more like us, the composition of the city versus people that are coming in from the suburbs to contain us. We don't need to be contained. We need to be served and protected.
Milwaukee, the city of Milwaukee is roughly, and correct me if I'm wrong, Mr. Wall, approximately 40% African American here.
Absolutely.
The Milwaukee Police Department is only 17% African American. And what's happened is that through their recruitment efforts, the city's recruitment efforts, they recruited a ton of people from outside the Milwaukee area, from way up north and things like that. And that's no indictment, because we got some wonderful police officers who come from those types of areas, 5 hours north of here, 6 hours north. The only problem is that that a number of my fellow police officers had limited exposure to minorities before coming on the police department, becoming interested. This is the thing. Everybody wants to be police officers here in Milwaukee because that's where the action is. I think all of you already agree. There's some action in the city from a standpoint of being a police officer. There's a lot of activity going on that if somebody, if a police officer really wanted to be active, he could be active here in the city, in any major city. But as I was saying, we only have 17% of the membership of the Milwaukee Police Department is African American, and I do see that as problematic. It wasn't always that low. Well, yeah, it was prior to 1978, but we were doing a lot better. I think we were in the 25, 26 percentile before going back down to 17% now. But this is the one thing that I want to tell you guys. On the police department, I've gone through, during my career, I've gone through a maturation process. When you first come on the job, it's you feel like, or it's easy to fall into the trap. It's just you. If you're not a police officer, you don't understand, and it's just us against the citizens, okay? And it's like everybody hates you. Think everybody hates me. Nobody wants me around as a police officer. I'm gonna stick with all the cops. You party with the cops. You after work, you go out and have beers with the cops. You go to the Brewers games with the cops and things like that. And what happens is that you really limit yourself because you think that the only people that matter are cops. And it takes you a time. Now, most of my friends that I socialize with, the Mayweather fight the other night, I'm not with cops in my social dealings. I do have some police officers that are very close friends. However, my life is not dominated off this job with just hanging around cops. It took me some years to get to that point.
Okay, about both you guys' comments earlier. First, I want to speak to Mr. William. You said something about it was a systematic institution, and when you said that, it made me think about like the police institution. I don't know exactly if it's systematic, but it got something to do with the government. And my opinion on the topic is that sometimes it's harder for the people in the black community because they don't know how to respond to what the government or the system put out on them. So do you think that's also a problem as well?
That is the hugest problem, and that's why I would like to plant the seed. You all are the future. You all are the ones that need to be advocating for this. When I'm, that old dude, older dude, because I'm old now. But yeah, you're absolutely right. You need to be involved and understand what issues impact you. When folks talk about there's nobody to vote for, there's always somebody to vote for, and when people come around to ask you for their vote, ask them the hard question. What are you going to do about the conditions in my community? And make sure they give you the correct answer, not just we're gonna create jobs. Well, how you gonna create them? We're gonna give you better schools. Well, how you gonna bring better schools? Ask them for the details, because you're gonna hear a whole lot of rhetoric next year in this presidential election about how people are going to do X, Y, and Z. But let's look at the detail, where the rubber hits the road. I've got some more stuff in my bag. There are two major job creations that come from the government. One is called HUD financing. When you see all these high rises going up on the east side, all that new development down there in the Third Ward, all those pretty condominiums, well, they're supposed to have 40% participation of un or underemployed individuals in this city. And our government, our elected officials, both black and white, refuse to implement that policy. And it's written in the law. I've been trying to get them to do it for 5 years now. They're also supposed to have set-asides in those high-rise apartments for people that are low to very low income and only pay 34% of their rent to that landlord. That's not being applied. Gorman Construction, you see Gorman on the side, you know, the blue and white sign saying Gorman. They got the biggest scattered sites. The city gave them 50 houses to rehab and make low-income housing. Well, folks like us are supposed to be able to live in those houses at a reduced cost. It's not happening. Hold them accountable. That's what we're trying to do. That's what I'm trying to plant the seed for you, because the fight's gonna continue. This is 1968. They've been suggesting that this needs to be done. It still hasn't been done. We did get the laws on the books, but now we got to get the laws implemented.
My question for you was,
Yes, sir.
you
Yes,
was
ma'am.
talking about how your mom kept you locked down, basically.
Mhm.
Do you think that we should be getting treated like that now to help our community?
I think so. I'm gonna tell you something, man. This is from my own personal experience, and I'm sure Mr. Royal shared this experience growing up. If you wanna find trouble, it ain't hard to find. I'm telling you, trouble will find you. And my mother knew that I was out, if I was gonna be out in the streets, that I was going to come under the influence of some really wicked individuals. Because we had some bad dudes in our neighborhood. I remember my older brother, he's 12 years older than me. I remember as a young boy, my mom telling a couple of his friends that they weren't welcome in our house because she just said they're bad. They're bad kids. And, she was looking out, but there were other kids that could influence me. I knew if I was actually hanging around them, and they were bad kids. They did bad things. That sooner or later, with me trying to impress them and try to, hang out with these guys and everything like that and do impressive things like stealing cars and things like that, I would have gone in the wrong direction. And she knew that.
Janae, you had your hand up.
Okay, when you talking about your mother, I kind of understand what you're saying, but don't you think sometimes when you restrain your kids from doing things, when they get out on their own, they don't know how to work, and then on top of that, now it's really nothing to do in Milwaukee because there's an age limit on everything. I mean, you can't even go to the mall. Now you can't even go skating. It's not nothing really here for kids to do or for kids to find other things to do. So my opinion on the topic is that we both a threat because when we get restrained, we do crazy stuff, and then the police don't know what to do, then we get hurt.
It's a good opinion, it's a good observation, because when you limit resources for individuals that don't have creative and positive outlets to do things. When I was growing up, we used to have a playground, we used to have, not only in the summer, but we could ice skate in the winter, get that little 10-cent cup of hot chocolate. Y'all don't know nothing about nothing in a pound pull away. So we used to skate, it was cold. We used to have ice skates on our avenue. We used to have some ball, tobogganing, stuff that y'all probably wouldn't even think about. Go out there in the cold? No way. But, you know, in the summertime, we learn how to play chess, four square, we had activities. When you limit folks' activity, what do you expect somebody to do?
Wait.
Oh, I was wondering, like, do you think, like, it's like the smallest stuff, like, it take a lot of stuff for something to reach the climax or something to happen. So it ain't just one point and then it just jump to that. It was like, we started off like, people started to notice, like, well, cause I used to live out on Blue Mile. My mom used to park on the wrong side of the street sometimes. The police, not the police, but the ticket man never came. He came once in a while. Then we moved back over here, they come every night.
That's revenue. And guys, I shouldn't say this, but it provides revenue for the city. Ticket fines, parking fines. They generate a ton of revenue for the city of Milwaukee. And the revenue is forecasted in the budget. When the mayor does his budget and the common council approves his budget, there's an expectation of getting so much money off of ticket revenue. Milwaukee's real big on that, but they want the money.
Yeah, I know.
Mm-hmm. So that's probably not. Money revenue is always a concern for any municipality. When I'm saying municipality, I'm talking Glendale, Greendale, Greenville, Wauwatosa. They all want different ways to bring in money to pay to run the city. Milwaukee is really huge on generating revenue.
Do you think people, role models, like you said, like you had role models, like back then that were like role models, like role models today aren't role models. Like people listen to music.
I understand what you're saying.
They want to listen,
You want to be a big baller, shot caller?
Yeah.
Make it rain? Yeah. Ride Bugattis, get a grill, get them tats. Yeah, but then you have to use this and say, what is it that you want in life?
Yeah, they want to know what everybody else like.
Because when I was growing up, we had those same role models. We had, pimps, driving the big Cadillacs and stuff, but you have to determine what is it that you want in life. And now is that pivotal point. Because I'm going to tell you this, when I was 14 is when I decided I was going to the service. My dad said some stuff to me like I was just getting about to get my driver's license, and the guy was going to sell me a car for $50, right? $50, I'm like, it was a push button Rambler to the people. Didn't care. I wanted the car, right? When he said no to me, broke my heart. He said, $50 is just to buy the car. You need more money than $50 to operate it, because you get caught up with traffic tickets. You got to buy gas. I wasn't thinking insurance. I wasn't thinking about that. I just wanted the car. So at that point, I said, I'm leaving. I'm getting out of here. I'm going to the service. Best thing that ever happened to me, though, was to go to the service.
Sometimes. Well, I look at it, sometimes you fall off and do greater things off of, you get mad and you feel like you should express some anger in a different way sometimes.
But I could have went to the negative and started doing stupid stuff here, but I went to the service and I got some positive benefits. I got some training. I got out of Milwaukee. I got a chance to experience other things. And then when I came back, I had my GI Bill. I had benefits that helped me get a positive start in life. This young lady's been waiting at me.
Kiana?
Wait for a minute.
Okay, when my boss came in yesterday, I did Charles. I picked up like a question that I asked. Do you believe that there is no good cop? Because like if a bad cop sees something, well, say if a bad cop do something and a good cop see it and don't say nothing, does that make that person as bad as the bad cop?
Who you asking? I'll tell you my opinion, because you don't define individuals by the role, by their job. You're saying good cop, bad cop. Is there good people and bad people?
Yes.
Is it bad? Is it wrong for you to watch another individual mistreat an individual without speaking up to that?
Yes.
Yes. That's
saying,
how I
like,
answer that question.